made a comment about you didn't focus on the weight loss or how many pounds you were losing. And I think that's phenomenal, because part of the program is about not only about losing weight, but you mentioned this as well, lifestyle change.
Yeah, very much so. I think that's the difference with this particular soul detox. I think the soul part was really important to me, because it's about being kinder to your whole self.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? I think that learning to eat in a way that nourishes you and makes you look younger, makes you feel more energetic, makes you feel cleaner in so many ways, and more alert, and you just got so much more energy. I had more energy now for what I need to do on day to day, so much. And my baby, she's 6, she basically totally loves a bunch of different things I was making for myself.
Right.
And not to the point yet where she's fighting me for it, but it's coming to that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's great, because then she'll grow up, we have an organic household, and it's like she'll grow up eating much better than I grew up.
That's
you know
phenomenal.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up in London, fish and chips, you know, love it. But you can't eat fish and chips every day. You can't eat anything every single day, but I think that it's just a really good educational program. Like on so many levels. It goes through like your spiritual level. It basically gets your dome right to start with, so you can focus on what's really important to go in yourself. And like Coach Carmen told us at the beginning, at first when she was, we'd gone to a live food, a raw food workshop that she hosted for us, and yourself were there. And I think that it was just such an education, because I just thought, I wasn't sure about it at the beginning, because she offered us these birdseed crackers, and I just thought, I just thought, no, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna work for me. It was a bit too crunchy and beady, but I thought it just reminded birdseed stuff, like, you know. And I just thought, if this is all like this, is gonna be a bad idea.
Right.
But the thing is, immediately after she saw the look on my face, and the dissatisfaction. I mean, other people thought it was great, but me personally, I thought, if it's going to go like this, I'm not going to make it. So anyway, basically, when she came out with the other things, she came out with some salads, she came out with some smoothies, and everything was yummy from that point on.
Right.
And I would say maybe every dish is not for everybody, you know what I mean? So that kind of hit a wrong chord with me, but she turned me around in less than 15 minutes, because she had smoothies, chocolate smoothies, all kind of stuff I didn't think I'd even be getting to taste.
Right.
Fabulous, you know what I mean? So it's easy to stick to something when it tastes good. It's easy, you know what I mean? It's a lot easier than I thought. The hardest week for me was the juice week. Yeah. Because I found that because I was just drinking juice, I wanted to chew something. Yeah. I just felt like I needed to chew something. And, you know, I grabbed a bit of banana, I grabbed a bit of this, I grabbed a bit of that, and I just thought, no, like, not on the same day. But then I felt terrible, like, you're not supposed to be eating solids. But my baby was chewing and having a great time eating her dinner, and I'm thinking, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. And I lost it for a minute. And I basically had a sour cream and onion chip, and then I felt terrible. And I thought, this is crap. I don't need to eat crap anymore, you know. And the thing is, I think it's a gradual transition to move from unhealthy foods to really slowly eventually getting to the point. That's my goal. Hopefully by the end of the year I might have got it down, but I'm just going to try and keep this whole way of eating in my life, because it's really good for me. It makes me feel great, and it stops me from eating things I would necessarily, I would normally eat so much different stuff. But the whole point of it at the beginning was kind of hard to sort of like, I was thinking it's going to be hard to go organic because it's so expensive and it's whatever. But one thing I noticed about my other friends that are strict vegans and live in Atlanta, London, whatever, they hardly ever go to the doctors. Yes. Because their systems are so used to eating whole foods that are organically grown in nutritional soil and everything, that they basically kind of repair themselves most of the time. They hardly ever get sick, no colds. It's really, really clean systems. And they never have any weight on them. Right. They're always like, they look like whispers, you know, just floating along, you know, slide under the door, hey. Right. So at the end of the day, I realised the weight falls off of you if you really stick to it right, and you're not necessarily dieting, you're just changing you. You're going back to yourself. Basically, you're remembering yourself. Right. Because in one sense, it's like, I'm realising the processed food doesn't break down right in your system and adds the weight. certain things. I had a sprained ankle at the beginning of this thing, and now my ankle is regular size. It's pretty much the same size as the other one. And sprains usually take a long time to heal.
Yeah.
But because of what I've been eating primarily, that is no longer an issue.
Yeah,
so I feel it's great. It's really self-repairing. It's fantastic.
Tell me, what would you say to aspiring participants of the program, people who are kind of teetering and they know they need to make a change, but they may be fearful for whatever reason? What would you say to them about joining the 28-day Body and Soul Detox?
I would say to people who Coach Carmen would refer to them as, and us, it's being in the matrix when we are walking blindly into the grocery store, picking up whatever, not really looking at the labels and little stickers on the foods. I would say you're losing out on your own self. Like you're losing yourself for no good reason, really. You're losing your energy for no good reason. All I can say is it's really giving me a lot more energy. It'd be a shame not to try it, because you might be really, I think you're going to be happily surprised, because first of all, the food's really tasty, so you can't go wrong with the food, really. I mean, there's some things obviously you're not going to like, other things you will, like any diet, any food that you're going to change. But I think it's well worth the investment and time and energy to come along and see her, because she's got something that really could change the world one cell at a time, really, because it really is, it's a really good option to feeling bloated after you eat your foods, feeling, I hate to say it, backed up, whatever, because you're not eating food that flows through you easy. You know, it's one of those things that rejuvenates you. It makes you more mindful of what you put in your body. It's like having premium gas instead of regular. It's like you really are doing yourself a disservice. I realized how much of a disservice I was doing myself and my children eating processed foods. It puts weight on you. A lot of the processed foods we buy in the supermarket doesn't break down. Some of it's genetically engineered to not break down, and it's you know, it's a transition that people say is too expensive, including myself. I thought organic would be really way more expensive, but what it is, I think that you're going to save yourself a lot of medical bills by going organic, because you're giving yourself the right thing, as I like to say, to start with. Do you know what I mean? You're doing yourself right to start with. So if you're willing to dare to step over the line, you really, I think, will be very surprised and enjoy the detox. And I think my friend Portia mentioned before that the meeting is nice to meet with Carmen and sit down and have her, you know, basically educate us, you know, from getting our heads from being like clones that roll into the supermarket and just grab what we usually get every week and don't look at the labels, don't look at whatever. You kind of get an education where you can tell an organic food, a whole organic food, by the numbers on the side, on the little tiny stamp bits on the fruit or the vegetable. You can tell whether it's organic or not. It shows you how to educate yourself to leave the genetic food or the processed food to one side and just only go for your organic foods. And I think that's really priceless, because so many people are just eating because it looks like a tomato. And it's actually a genetically engineered one, because it's got something else been added to this. I mean, it's not like anything together. They messing with your food. And that's not cool. I mean, so many people are just eating things blindly, and I was one of them up until we did this. And now I know better, I'm doing better. And I think that is the benefit of actually taking the 28-day detox. I wanted to
ask you about, did you notice, and you mentioned it of course, but did you notice changes in the internal environment? I mean, you started to eat differently, you're putting nutritionally sound food into your body, and what did you notice most about that?
I think the tingling. I think the first thing, I remember calling up Carmen and saying, Carmen, I'm tingling, baby. I'm tingling. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, and she goes, oh, you're like Anthony, he tingles. I said, oh, well, I got the tingling. It's going on. Good. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it because I feel like I can feel that it's like the fuel's going in that my body's been longing for a long time. I also noticed that I fell asleep earlier. I think that I was eating fresh foods and I woke up earlier, but I fell asleep earlier. And I think it was because the food being live food, you're kind of, it's almost like you're on the nature clock. It's like your body changes, it kind of goes over to nature clock. That's all I could put it down to, because everything I was eating was raw. Or organic. Like if it was the vegan week and it was sauteed, it was still organic, you know what I mean? And I noticed it more in the week, the third weekend, with the salads and everything raw that we was eating. I think that's the week I really started to go to bed early. Like, well, why am I going to bed so early? You know? But I just naturally felt tired. And I kept thinking it must be sunshine time with the flowers. Do you know what I mean? Right. So I just kept falling asleep. Like, you know, knocking ourselves out like 9 o'clock, 9:30. I was in bed. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's great.
I've had my own experience with Coach Carmen. And I think she's phenomenal. Tell me a little bit about her.
What can I say, Carmen? I want to say it, but it's a Sunday and I shouldn't, so I'm not going to say it. But you are the ish, okay? Let's leave it at that. You are the ish, Carmen, because you really, you know, I've known Carmen for a long time, and I know she's been through her own personal trials. And I remember a time when she wasn't so well. And one of the reasons I did this detox is because, to be honest with you, when I saw Carmen about maybe 4 years or 3 years or so ago, she didn't look like she was going to make it. And I didn't even know if I'd see her again, because it was that serious how she looked to me. And it was such a change, I was shocked. And to be honest with you, the fact that I saw her in the park maybe last year, randomly walking through the park with my child and her father, and basically there was Carmen looking like brand new. So I was like, why? How you did that, Carmen? Carmen! I was so glad to see her. Do you know what I mean? Because I just thought, I don't know. I mean, I kind of knew she was all right in one sense, because I spoke to a mutual friend of ours, Tanya Sage, and I basically spoke to her, and she would give me updates on Carmen because they'd speak and they connected. They'd always been connected sisters for a long, long time. But for me, I was so glad to see her, and that alone was one of the reasons I was so into doing this, because I thought if Carmen can bring herself back from the brink, maybe she can bring me back from the brink with what she's learned. And I figured it would be her education, because I just thought, I didn't know how she did it. I just couldn't believe it. She looked amazing. She looked brand new. And I was like, wow, how did you do that, you know? And when she told me a bit about what she was doing, I was into it then, but I don't think I was ready then. And when it was so funny, because just when she was actually, you know, coming to New Year's, always a good time, loads of people want to lose weight, get on a diet, whatever. But it was so much more than a diet. It was like changing your headspace, getting with God, getting with yourself. And the thing is, I never really moved far from God. I give thanks every day, all the time. It's like, because I know there's nothing to give, and you're not given necessarily to wake up tomorrow morning. And for me, what Carmen has given us is a lifetime. It's like teach a man to fish, if you know what I mean. It's like basically teach a person to eat right. And you always have that choice then. You can always make better choices. Now we can make better choices for our children, for our friends, for our families. We can do so much more for ourselves and get more mileage out of this body that we're in for temporary housing right here. We can get more mileage out of it, because it's an amazing thing. It's like the human body is so amazing, and I'm realizing that I'm adapting to it really, really well. I'm aiming to try and make at least 4 to 5 days a week raw, if I can do it. Hopefully eventually, maybe next year, I don't know. I mean, it might turn all the way in, I don't know yet. I mean, I'm just like still taking baby steps. I'm not trying to screw it up completely. I really want to try and, you know, I know that there's some things I might fall off and have, like eggs Benedict Royale, okay, with like wild smoked salmon, alright, and whole organic eggs, okay. So, you know, I can't say I'm going to be past that, because it's yummy. But in general, I'm gonna just keep going with what we're doing, because I think that it's really, really enriching my life. And you can have cake and eat it too. Like, you can have really tasty cake, and I think somebody's got some before me. But anyway, basically, you can have really tasty cake. You don't cook it. Unbaked cake sounds awful if you think about it in regular terms. But because of when you get inside this program, you realize there are alternate ways to make your cake and eat it too, and it don't make you bigger. Fabulous. So I feel like that's the whole thing. It's like everything you eat, it keeps making you the right size. It's like right size cake, right size smoothie, right size. Everything you eat, you can't go wrong as long as you stick on it. You're gonna come down. It's like, as one time I went to Lagos and did a concert right in Nigeria, and basically the people said, Karen Willa, you are reducing yourself. You are reducing. What have you been doing? I said, well, I've been juicing. You look spectacular. You look like your own junior sister. I was crying. So basically, they call her junior sister, your younger sister. You look like your younger sister. I was crying. And I just thought, you know what? I want to go back to that. And if this is going to help me get there, I want to be my junior sister again, thanks to Coach Carmen.